What's going on, guys? Joey Franzo here with Flexx Training Systems, and today we are actually going to be looking at actual live footage of someone lifting. My man Russel Orhii just competed this last weekend. We prepped for 10 weeks. He ended up hitting like a 58, 60 pound PR total. Um, Big Wilks, 531 Wilks. Fucking killed it. Stuck to the plan. 9 for 9, perfect day. So we're gonna break it down. I'm gonna go through the video and I'm gonna provide commentary over his lifts. Maybe point out some technical things that went on. I think there's a lot to take away from the video, especially the more we get into the video, I start to open up a little bit more and break things down. Um, so yeah, I hope you guys enjoy. I hope you guys are able to take something away from this video. I did ask him for permission. I did actually want to do this sooner, the previous weekend with some of my lifters that competed, but nobody decided to post it on YouTube, so I didn't have a way to rip it down with my screen cap software. For those curious, I use OBS. I can provide commentary and capture the screen at the same time, so it's really useful for things like this. That being said, thank you guys for sticking around, and let's get into the video. Alrighty, guys, getting right into the video. In case anybody's wondering, I did ask Russ for permission to do this. Obviously, this is his footage. Go check out the video on his channel. I was actually very impressed by the editing. Nice little 606 opener, aka 5 reds. Brace hard, wait till the weight stops moving. Hit a little sticky, pop right up. Very, very nice. Now, squats set the tone for the meet. They, literally, if you have good squats, your chances of killing it, the rest of the meet are going to be much, much higher, in my opinion. Really quickly, before we hit the squat, let's break a couple things down, aside from the amount of spotters on the platform. The bar that Russ uses is a noodle. It's a literal noodle, a ramen noodle. And I was worried that he would come in to the meet and they would have an Alico bar or something like an Ohio bar, something a little stiffer, and it would throw him off. Luckily, I guess down in Texas, they use Texas Power Bars, which are not complete ramen noodles, but they are a little bit harder or a little bit denser. Not nearly as dense as an Ohio bar, and not as dense as an Alico for sure. I thought I was a little hesitant, because I didn't know how that would affect him. I didn't know how much. I don't think he got any practice on anything really stiff like that. And really, where you're gonna feel that is coming out of the hole, because the bar's not gonna whip back up, so it doesn't, it can't really assist you in that portion. That's why you see these Olympic lifters that come in with their high bar squats and they kind of dive bomb, and they just can hit these crazy weights, and then they literally bomb out when they try to do powerlifting meets, because it's a different dynamic. It's a completely different way to attack the bar, essentially. But Russ did great. Apparently, this is a Texas Power Bar. It's a silver one, which I've never seen before. So it's a little softer. The collars are wider, so the weights are going to be farther out. As you can see, the bar is bending on his back. But yeah, he did great, and let's see how he does on this attempt. Second attempt of 639. Second attempts are very, very important. Okay, so that sticky point, let's see if we can, was like right around here where he starts to slow down. This is where you need to judge the lift. You always want to judge any lift from the slowest part. So if you are able to move a weight quickly, but it slows down to big time in the middle, that's really how strong you were, not the entire speed. So if you don't judge from the sticky, you're gonna probably pick something you shouldn't be picking, and you're gonna fuck up. But he didn't do that. I would say Russ is very, very good at being self-aware, like aware of what's going on in the moment on the day. Kind of, he never really said anything to me. Like literally, most lifters will come to me and be like, "Hey Joey, I hit this lift. Here's the video. I'm thinking about hitting this," and I'll be like, "Whoa, whoa, we're not even close. We shouldn't be doing that." But Russ is like a sponge. He absorbs everything that I say. I can say it one time, he gets it, and you know, it's honestly somewhat refreshing. But at the same time, I do have a lot of patience in case you know we need to explain something again and again. But I appreciate that quality in him. I think he's a phenomenal competitor. And there he goes, destroying that 639. So jump 7.5. Really quickly, he was able to communicate with me on the day. Russ, if you're listening to this, thank you for that. I really appreciate that. In the meet, he was actually able to message me and say, "Hey Joey, you know, this felt like this felt like that, blah 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 blah. I'm thinking about hitting this, I'm thinking about hitting that. You know, stuck to the plan here." I knew that he would be in range of 661, which we probably could have gotten had we went for it. But this meet was to build momentum, and I think it's always a good idea to leave 5 to 2.5 kilos in the tank on squat because you still have to bench and you still have to deadlift. Meets can be very long, which you guys will see. You know, if you watch his video, which you all should, it's a tough. Meets can be very long, and every meet scenario is different. You know, the Arnold is like a speed meet. It's literally like go, 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 go. Squat, warm up for bench, warm up for deadlift. You're done in 2.5 hours. And this meet took, I think he got there like at 8 in the morning and left at 9 at night. So, you know, it's like a marathon, and it can be very, very draining to, unless you're constantly popping pre-workout. So here we go, third attempt, 655. Control, let that weight stop moving before he descends. Nice, very, very nice. 3 whites, there we go. Depth is not going to be a problem for this boy right here. Alrighty, warming up on the bench press. So a couple things to note about Russ's bench. He's got pretty long arms and not a narrow grip, but relatively narrow grip, I guess you could say. So right there, if you can see where my cursor is, his ring finger is just on the ring. And sometimes, well, from the angles that I've seen, and I don't know if we can see it here, but let's let it play a little and see if it happens. His elbows kick out a little. Actually, didn't really do it there, but usually when the elbows kick out, what that's telling me is naturally he's probably going to be a little bit stronger from the medial head of his tricep. That's like the horseshoe, I guess you could say. So we definitely want to utilize that by moving out a little bit more and also engaging more of the pecs. For most people, your pecs are going to have a greater potential to grow as opposed to your arms. I know for me, I'm like the most extreme version of that. Like literally, you know, who benches 463 pounds and has like, I probably literally have like 15-inch arms, which is like fucking horrible. I guess I just don't train them enough. No, I know genetically it's definitely been a hard thing for me, specifically the bicep. But you can still make do. You gotta use what you can. My pecs are very responsive. I know Russ is a jack dude. I don't think he has any weak points. And what the adjustment that we made is I told him to move his finger out 1 finger space to middle finger so we can engage more of the pec and reduce his range of motion. And also, the wider you go on the bench press, the less room you have for error because you can't move as much. And you're also, like, your joints can only... with the narrow grip, your elbows can kind of go all over the place, but the wider you go, you can't really move as much. So more of the force that you're exerting is going to go into the bar and into the bar path that you have no choice but to follow because you're using a wider grip, if that makes sense. So there are many, many benefits to a wider grip, and you know we're definitely going to look to take advantage of that these coming weeks leading into nationals. So this was his previous meet PR, by the way. His squat was a very good meet PR for him. So 391 here. This was his third attempt, last meet. Very, very nice there. Made the call to jump to 402. I knew it would be a fight. It's right on the edge. If this was like a really high stress situation, we absolutely needed to get it. I probably would have gone 396 just to make sure. Um, and you never know. Like a grinder on any lift can definitely drain you. So let's take a look and see how he does here. Very, very nice. Very nice there. That was the perfect call. Very nice, Russ. There you go, man. All right, so now deadlift. I would say of all the conventional deadlifters that I work with, he has one of the most. He starts pretty upright, and his range of motion is very. It's not that much, but look at. Hold on. Let's go back really quick. Right. No. Right. Actually, fuck it, since we're already here. So one of my concerns coming into the meet was grip. I see how he's kind of holding the bar. So here are his knuckles. He's holding it in kind of like his fingers. Now you need to have longer fingers and a really strong forearm and just a strong hand muscles to be able to do that. And I told them coming into the meet, I was like, your pulls are going to be really good. They're strong and everything, but I'm a little concerned about your grip. And he's like, I feel really comfortable there. I feel strong there. I never really had any issues. I've pulled a bazillion pounds like that, blah, 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 blah. So, one of the things that every coach, I think, in my opinion, should pay attention to is you have to consider your lifters' feedback. And, they are lifters too, and they know their body a little bit as well, I would assume. And if he tells me he feels confident doing something, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt, especially in our first meet together, and say, you know what, man, if you feel confident with that, let's do it your way. And then if there's a problem, we'll tweak it for next time. And I have, we got this little box of keys right next to me, right? And inside, I could just grab one of those keys and we could try it, but this ended up working out. Although you guys will see, his hand did start to tear a little, and I have some tips to prevent that. But we'll talk about that when we get there. So, bar is close to the body, which is how I would prefer some people coach to have it up here. It all depends, honestly. Some people can get away with it here. Some people can get away with it here. But nonetheless, he's got a very solid pull. One of the great things about conventional deadlift is you don't have to worry about a lot of the little technical things that can happen with when you pull sumo. And, he is utilizing that grip right here, which seems to be working for him. And really what I wanted to show you guys was right here. So look at where his femur is and look at where his torso is. He's got a relatively short torso, so the glutes, what a great shot. The glutes are what move the weight in the deadlift, right? Everything else, like his back is just trying to maintain its neutrality. And obviously his arms are trying to hold the bar so he can actually get it up. But the glutes are what's going to move the weight. At this angle, his femurs are done. Like they're already where they need to be. They're already kind of finishing the lift, almost like a block pull. He's a little bit above, I would say, if his glutes were down here, then that's like kind of like the tough point that you want to overcome. This is kind of a hard concept to explain, but essentially he's finishing the lift already with his femurs. So the quads are not going to be as much a part of the equation for him specifically, just because of the way that he's built, which is kind of a good thing. If we needed them, we could use them, but he doesn't really need to do that. The main mover is going to be the glutes. This is like super crazy, like optimal leverage here. We got this joint right here, and then the bars down there. This is what you want. You want to you see this kind of V upside down triangle going right here. This little, Illuminati going on. That's what you want. And then boom, he just locks it out. Very nice deadlift. Built for deadlift, I would say. Not to take anything away from him, because God knows he worked really fucking hard to get to where he's at. Opening attempt, 639 here. Again, we're using a Texas power bar, so it's going to bend a little bit. Let's take a look and see how much it actually does give. All right, so something that I'm noticing here that I don't think I've seen before on him is his left hand. You guys see where that's at? It's like almost like an inch away from the line, but his right hand, so his right hand is 2 inches out. I don't really know why that is. I'm just now noticing that that could be an issue that we need to address if he's tipping at any point. I don't really want him to think too much about his pull. Let's go ahead and see what happens. Okay, boom. So right there, you can see that bar definitely give right in there. And that's not going to happen on an Alico. So that's something we need to be aware of. So the bar is still touching the ground, but it's bending quite significantly. Not going to happen on an Alico. So on meet day, he may need to use his quads a little bit more to help get the weight moving. Definitely, when you're using an Alico bar, you're going to probably round sooner than later. So you're going to miss weights at the top because you're rounded over more. This is something that like people don't pay attention to, and they wonder why they miss. Your training might say, hey, I'm good to hit this weight, but on the day you end up hitting something a little bit less because the bars are different. And I know I'm talking a lot about equipment, but it does make a difference. Absolutely. 2-3 inches off the floor, with a deadlift bar are definitely something we need to pay attention to. Granted, everybody has to deal with it. And my other argument against that is, as long as you're getting stronger, it doesn't fucking matter what equipment you're using. But yeah, Texas power bar, bendy bend, very smooth opener. Even though his hand is out here, it still looks like everything seems to be lined up okay, so I'm not really too concerned about it. Looks like he's got a really good grip on that bar. No problems here, 639. Took a pretty sizable jump up to 677. Really quickly, before he pulls this, I wanted to mention he had been at the meet for a very long time, and to make things worse, he squatted, he waited quite a while. Obviously he didn't wait, but the meet took forever. Then he benched, and then he's sending me his squat video or his bench videos, and immediately after he sends me a deadlift video, and I'm like, whoa, what the hell is going on? We just benched. So that kind of threw me off, and that's definitely a change of pace, and it can definitely drain you. So, for him to come up and hit this lift the way that he does here, look at him power up right there. Hold on. We gotta get a replay really quick here. Look at that power up. Look, he's powering up right now. Power up. There we go. Ooh, look at this guy. Look at this. Look at this swollenness. Powering up right there. That's what you want. Breathe. Brace. Up. There you go. Okay, so very, very nice here. It looks like the bar did shift a little bit to his right and then came back over to his left, but I'm not really too concerned about it. This right here, the big quads on the hands getting caught, that can cause a little bit of extra friction, which can make lockout a little bit harder. But definitely very, very solid second attempt. Very smooth second attempt. I'm going to go ahead and watch it one more time. Because remember, guys, the second attempt is going to set you up for your third. And depending on how you hit your second, it's almost okay to take a little bit more of an aggressive second to really expose or kind of shed light, like reveal what your third attempt should be, if that makes sense. So very nice there. I think 5 kilos for sure. Granted, I did make a video about how deadlifts, they don't scale linearly in terms of difficulty. For example, the heavier the weight gets, the more you're going to round off the ground. This is going to happen way sooner with an Alico bar. When you squat, I mean, your back's not really going to round at all. It's going to stay like you're being compressed by the weight. So you don't have to deal with that variable. Same thing with bench press. Your arms aren't going to like, your bones in your arms aren't going to bend, obviously. So you can kind of choose your weights based on really straightforward, like how each one looks. On deadlifts, it's a different thing. You know, your back can compress a little bit more. So I told him over the, you know, from the angle that I had, I was like, you know what, if we needed it, like if I asked him if he was in contention for money, he said, I think it's pretty much in the bag now. And I said, okay, that's good to know. If we absolutely needed it, like let's say we would lose if we took a small jump and we had no choice but to go 392 or 396, sorry, 692 or 693. I would say it's not out of the question. It might even be 694. But yeah, if we needed it. And he's like, nah, man, it's already in the bag. You know, and I was like, you know, we're good then. 688, call it. Let's go 9 for 9. Let's get those. Let's build that total. Hit that nice PR total. I think he PR'd his total by like 60 pounds. And he hit a pretty massive Wilks score, so that's awesome. Let's go right into it. Nice and controlled there. One thing I love is when lifters control the weight and put it down versus just fucking dropping it. Okay, here we go. 688 pounds. Really quickly, before he makes this pull, got to chalk up. Absolutely got to chalk up, especially in this Titan singlet, especially around here. The singlet can kind of get caught in the knurl and you're screwed. So I know that for me personally, I literally pull my shits up like as high as I can. By the way, I love this singlet. It's like one of my favorite singlets. It feels really, really nice to squat in. It just makes me feel very secure. So 688 pounds, third deadlift. This will give him a 9 for 9 day and a nice PR total. See where he's grabbing the bar. So I guess he fixed it on his third attempt. All right, so still shifting to his right a little bit, but no worries. It is a lot of weight, and he is tired. But one thing that I wanted to mention, talking about his grip earlier, off the ground, right when he initiates, you see his hand. See how it is there? And it kind of actually, he did a really good job of not letting the bar roll and give right off the get-go. This top hand, because it is, this underhand, because it is facing outward, the bar is going to want to literally roll out. It's going to just want to leave. So you have to really, really fight with that underhand to squeeze and keep it in there. And one thing that you can do to prevent your hands from ripping, and this is way easier said than done, is to consciously, in the lift, think about squeezing the bar as hard as you possibly can, using your thumbs to press down, if you are pulling mix, to press down on your, you know, index and middle. Push that motherfucker down, squeeze that bar as hard as you can, squeeze those forearms, hold that shit in there, and do not let the bar roll. It's probably going to roll a little bit, but if you can reduce it as much as you can, you're going to have a way easier time getting the weight up, and you won't have to, your hands won't tear, first off, because the bar's not rolling. And as you can see right here, this was absolutely the right call, because if we would have gone any higher, you know, who knows what would have happened. The bar is literally in his bottom fingers. I try to palm it. I try to get the bar in my palms. But hey, he locked it out. Luckily, the judge was not a dickhead. Sometimes judges make you hold that shit up there for a pretty long time. And it's not fun. And you can, like, right when they lock out, the bar can roll back and slip out of your hands. So props to Russ for fighting through and finishing the day. Absolutely the right call here. Like I said, you know, it looked like he had a little bit more based on the second attempt, but you never know. The weight does not scale on deadlifts. It doesn't scale linearly, especially going from a second to a third. What I mean by that is if you jump 12.5 kilos from first to second, you may not jump the same to your third. It's most likely going to be a little bit less. And on the other lifts, I prefer actually to do that, jump a little bit less. yeah, so very nice pull here by Mr. Russ. Put it down there, nice and controlled. Very, very nice.
First place, Russel Orhii.
A little bit of audio here for you guys. Hopefully it's not too loud. But yeah, there are the stats for the day. 531 wilks.
First place, Russel Orhii.
Fantastic wilks. That is an amazing wilks. Very nice total, and made weight right on the cutoff. So props to you, Russ. I'm very, very proud of you. Excited for what we can bring to nationals. Other than that, guys, I hope you're able to take something away from this video. Really appreciate you guys sticking this far. If you made it this far, go ahead and hashtag pancake gains in the comments below. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys enjoyed this video and want me to do more, breaking down more like I had planned to do, then go ahead and let me know in the comments. Alrighty, guys. Thanks. Peace.